Hey guys, welcome back to my podcast. Boy, do I have a show for you today. I have a lot to talk about, and I know I say that every episode. Um, because if you've been following my podcast episodes, you know that I have been discussing Stranger Things season 4 and pretty much like every episode of Stranger Things this past season has been like an hour long or over that. So I've been trying to cram a lot into one episode, but today I'm going to be talking about a couple other things. I'm definitely going to jump back into Stranger Things, of course, and I'm going to have to you know, cut probably like the discussion in half, maybe in two or three parts for this episode, for episode 8 of Stranger Things and episode 9, because y'all, episode 9 is like 2.5 hours. It's a full movie. So there's no way I'll be able to discuss everything in one podcast episode. I try to make sure I talk about everything in an hour or under an hour. So yeah, we're gonna have to split this up. So for the next few episodes of my podcast, I'm definitely still gonna be talking about Stranger Things, although we are coming to the end of season 4. And it makes me kind of sad. Although I already watched all of season 4 anyway, and so I've been knew what happened, but I just wanted to obviously use the platform that I have now to talk to you guys about it, just because I feel like the season was really so great. But before I even get into episode 8, like I said, there was a couple things that I wanted to talk about. And by the way, if you're new here, or if you happen to like stumble across my podcast, hello, I am Tiffany, and welcome to my podcast. I always start off just like welcome back, as if everybody that watches this is people that have been watching it. But I know sometimes people can maybe come across my channel or my page. So if you're new here, thanks for tuning in. Like hopefully you like what I'm discussing, or hopefully you'll want to join and stay and watch, because I go live every Tuesday at 1 p.m. on Facebook. And then if you're not able to catch my live, I always upload same day. So you can catch my podcast on Spotify, you can catch it on my YouTube page. And then sometimes I'll even post clips on my TikTok. And what I'm trying to do now is make sure that I put my social media links or like my social media usernames in the comments, so that way if you guys want to go and follow me, you can. Because I feel like when I try to like tell you what my app names are, it's a little bit much to try to remember that. So it's easier for me to probably just put in the comments. So I encourage you guys to go and follow me, because I'm usually talking about TV shows and movies on Twitter for sure. And then, I'm involved in a lot of fandom stuff on there. And then I'll kind of talk a little bit about it on here on Facebook. So definitely join me if you want to keep up with my podcast, or if you just want to connect with me and talk about TV, movie, anything like that. I'd love to chat about it. But anyway, see, it's already like 3 minutes in, and I'm already like rambling. So it's going to be a lot of this today. So if you are listening to this live, you're just going to have to listen to me ramble. If you are listening to this on Spotify or YouTube, you could definitely skip forward if you just want to listen to me talk about Stranger Things. But there was two other things that I wanted to talk about first. One was the Jeepers Creepers reboot. Not sure if you guys heard about that, but I kind of wanted to discuss that a little bit. And then the other thing was there's this new show that I discovered called KinnPorsche that I absolutely fell in love with, and I really didn't think that. Like I went into it really not with any expectations, but I really didn't think I was gonna love it as much as I have. So I was like, I have to mention this. Like I'm just too excited about it right now. Like, cause I just finished watching the first season maybe like the other day. So I'm like really hype about it right now. So I'm like, I gotta talk about it. Like if I'm excited about it, I want you guys to know about it too. Um, and so yeah, I want to mention those things first before I get into Stranger Things. And then let me see. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm live on Facebook, just so y'all are catching what I'm talking about here. Um, for some reason, like I always have problems with this. I literally do not know why. Y'all can let me know if you know, because I haven't been on, to be honest, I haven't been on Facebook that long. I'm kind of new to Facebook, which is weird to say because I know like literally like everybody has Facebook. But I just was never like into Facebook like that. I always used Twitter and Instagram and like pretty much every other main social media app, but Facebook was something that I'm pretty new to. So I'm not really sure why, but sometimes I have problems like when I go live. it tends to automatically go to like a private setting. And so then people that want to watch me live are not able to see it. So I want to make sure that you guys are seeing it. So I apologize if you see me like looking off camera and I'm like pausing and everything. I just want to make sure this is all set up for you guys. But anyway, let me not waste all time. I'm gonna get into the Jeepers Creepers reboot really quickly. Um, so yeah, there is a new Jeepers Creepers movies coming out. I believe in about a month or so. I know it's in September. So I'm kind of contemplating whether or not I want to go to the movies and see it. And it's a couple of reasons why I'm kind of like, I don't know. One is because of the trailer. I'm not gonna lie, I watched the trailer and I was kind of like, that wasn't really that great to me. It didn't really feel like Jeepers Creepers. Like if you guys, I think feel like people my age and older definitely remember the first Jeepers Creepers. I mean, it's a classic. Like it still holds up to today. And that was pretty scary. At least it was to me. And I'm not like a horror movie person at all. I'm just not that girl. Like growing up, I actively avoided horror movies because I just used to get really scared. And I didn't find the joy in it at all. Like some people can like laugh and all that kind of stuff. I was like, this is scary. I don't want to watch this. This is gonna give me bad dreams. This is gonna make me paranoid. I don't like it. So I didn't really watch horror movies growing up like that. But this one I definitely remember, at least the first one I remember for sure. And I remember Justin Long was in it because I thought he was cute, which he was. And I know there's a second one. I don't really remember the second one, but I feel like it got like, I don't know if it was, as good as the first one, but I feel like it got good praise, for it to be a sequel. Then come to find out there is a Jeepers Creepers 3. Like, what? When did they, like, I was like, what? I never knew a third one was made, never knew it existed. It came out in 2017, had no idea. But I guess I wouldn't because, like I said, I don't really follow horror movies like that. The only like horror movie that I've ever like truly loved is like It, to be honest, which is funny because I'm not really a fan of clowns. But like the new movies, obviously, I think you guys have heard me talk about it before. I adore like the first one for sure because of the kids and the movie and everything. But that's probably like the only horror movie that I can say that like I've ever like truly loved, like where I'll go back and rewatch it and everything. But yeah, Jeepers Creepers is like the first one was very memorable and stuff, and so I had no idea that there was a third one. I don't really remember the second one, but I knew that there was a sequel. But come to find out, they made a third one in 2017, and to put it plainly, like it's really bad. Like it really sucks compared to the other two movies, and it just kind of messed up the franchise. I'm not sure why they felt the need to put out a third one. So like, I mean, there's such a gap between the first and second one and then the third one. The first one came out in like 2001 or something, so like over 20 years ago. And I know sometimes that happens when you do franchises and they take years and years to make another one, but in this case to me it just didn't make sense to make a third one. um and for it's just, I know you're probably like, well, how is it bad? Like what's so bad about it? Literally everything is bad about it. um where should I even start? So the dialogue is really corny. The acting is very unbelievable. The guy who plays Jeepers Creepers, which I feel like it's the same dude. It could be a different guy. I don't know. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. The guy that plays Jeepers Creepers, like in the third one, he's just not scary. Like it's just weird. It's just not the same vibe as the first two. And the effects are like really outdated for it to be a 2017 movie, which I was kind of surprised by that. I was like, why are they making it look like that? So I'm just really confused. And then I heard that the same people who made the first two movies made the third one. So I'm like, where did y'all go wrong with this? Like, I don't understand how they put this together and then put it out, was like, yeah, like this is good. Like this gonna scare people. Cause I'm like, no, it's funny. Like I don't, maybe that was their intention to make it kind of funny, but I don't think so. I think they really maybe thought that like it was going to be a good addition to the first two and it just wasn't. So I'm like, y'all definitely could have kept that. I'm not sure why you put that out. Low key embarrassing. And I kind of feel bad for like the people who played in the first two because it's like now you're kind of messing up the whole, like I said, you're messing up the whole franchise now. So maybe they're trying to kind of fix that now with the reboot. I don't know, but just from the looks of the trailer, the reboot again doesn't feel like Jeepers Creepers to me. It has all like the cliche elements of a horror movie, but it just other than that, it didn't really stand out to me. So I'm kind of like, I don't know if this will be worth to see in theaters, but I am interested because, like I said, it is a reboot. So I'm kind of wondering what they're going to keep from maybe like the original and what they're going to change. And then the other thing too is just like, I feel like typically when you have like a classic movie, like the first Jeepers Creepers movies, and then years later you try to do a reboot. Usually, when they do that with movies, the reboots are never like as good. They're just never really that great. Um, and I think one of the like rare exceptions to that was It. Obviously, like I mentioned before, that the 2017 It that came out that blew up, and it became like the highest grossing horror movie within like the last like 10 years or something like that. I don't know like the exact numbers, but I just remember when it came out, it was like everywhere, and like everybody and their mama was going to the movies to see it. Even I went to go see it. So that should tell you something. And then I think I saw it like twice. And I remember people on social media were like, I went to go see it like 3, 4 times. Like it was that good. So yeah, that was like like a rare exception where, you know, um, they were reintroducing the story to a new generation, to a new audience, and I feel like that's what they're trying to do with Jeepers Creepers. But in this case, it doesn't feel like Jeepers Creepers, so I'm not sure like what direction they're trying to go in. So again, making me kind of skeptical to be like, do I really want to spend money and watch this in theaters, or should I just kind of like wait till maybe it comes on streaming services or something like that? I don't know. But I kind of feel like too, if it's coming out close to my birthday, maybe I can go see it for my birthday, and then that'll give me an excuse to come back on the podcast and give you guys like a film review. I thought that would be kind of cool to do. And I know obviously like my podcast is mainly TV discussion because I just love TV. I was just that girl. Like I grew up watching a lot of TV. I love films too, but I have a fondness for TV. So I was thinking about maybe incorporating like film reviews every now and then. I feel like that'd be kind of cool to switch it up a little bit. You guys let me know what you think about that. I did a film review of Nope, I think maybe about a month ago, because that was a pretty like intriguing, interesting movie. So if you haven't watched that, you can go back on my YouTube channel or my Spotify and catch that episode where I talked about Nope. Um, that was the Jordan Peele movie that came out because I went to go see that in theaters. And then so yeah, so after I done that, I was like, well, that was kind of fun. So maybe I should kind of incorporate like film talk a little bit. So maybe I'll do that. And if I do start doing that, then I'll definitely, I'll sacrifice my own coins to go see the Jeepers Creepers movie just so I can come back and tell you guys and let you know like is it worth it or not. And just tell you like what my experience with it was. So just let me know if you guys want me to do that, and tell me, are you interested in the reboot? Like, are you thinking about going to see it? What do you think? Do you think it's going to be as good as the first two? Do you think it's going to be as bad as the third one? I feel like it can't be worse than the third Jeepers Creepers, but I'm also like, I really don't think it's going to live up to the first one. The first one was just really good. So, and maybe that's just nostalgia, you like nostalgia. How do you say that? Nostalgic talk? I don't know. Because I watched it like when I was a kid. So, for obviously when I was a kid, it was like really scary, but I feel like it still holds up today. So I don't know, but I just kind of wanted to mention that because I was unaware that there was a reboot until recently. I'm not sure if you guys knew. If you haven't seen the trailer, of course you can go on YouTube and check it out, and then comment down below. Let me know what you think about the reboot. Do you think it's going to be good? Are you willing to go and see it? Like, give me your guys' thoughts, and please let me know if you've seen Jeepers Creepers 3 and like if you think it's as bad as what I'm describing it as, because I haven't I haven't myself haven't sat down and watched the whole thing. The way I was able to see it was because I saw somebody else on YouTube reacting to it, and it was just like the scenes that I was seeing, it was just like, what? Like, just watching somebody else react to it, I could see how bad it was. And that's what I was like, okay, this is like hilarious. And even the people that were reacting to it were like cracking up. Um they have a channel on YouTube called Struggle Nation, and they do like TV shows, movie reactions. And I came across their channel when Stranger Things 4 came out, and I saw their reactions to that, and I thought it was so funny, and I was like, dude, I have to subscribe to them because they're hilarious. So I've been kind of watching some of their videos recently, and they they react to that about a couple weeks ago, and I was just like, dude, this is so funny. Like, I have to talk about this on the podcast because I really need to know if anybody else um seeing Jeepers Creepers 3 and what they thought about it. Like, I don't know if it's like a universal thing where like everybody is like, yeah, no, we don't count that movie as part of the franchise because it's just that bad, you guys. Like, it's a really bad. It's like a comedy basically. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about the reboot and then about Jeepers Creepers 3 if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, maybe go watch it. It'll give you a good laugh. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I want to hear what you guys have to say about that because I just think it's so funny that they did that, that they really put that out and was like, yeah, this is it. Like, this is good. Really, y'all? Really? Anyway, before I jump into the next subject, I did want to let you guys know that my podcast is sponsored by Streann Media. For those of you who have been watching my podcast and you've been following along with me for the last few months, you already know that Streann Media sponsors my podcast. And the way I'm able to go live every week is because I use the Stream Studio software. But for those who don't know, and if you're new to this, like you're getting to hear this for the first time, let me tell you a little bit about Stream Media and specifically about the Stream Studio software. So if you guys notice, like as I'm talking right now, that I have my name on display. I have this cute little like colorful background. You could see the Stream Media logo in the corner. Like all that comes from Stream Studio. That's not my doing. That's what they've created for their content creators to use. So obviously, in my case, I'm doing a podcast, but if you wanted to use their Stream Studio software, you didn't have to do podcasting. You could do live streaming of any sorts. A lot of people do gaming, they go on Twitch and all that kind of stuff, YouTube. That's not really my thing, but if you wanted to do that and you wanted to kind of have a platform to go live on, definitely recommend using Stream Studio. And there's so many cool features on the side that you guys, the listeners are not able to see, but from my end, I'm able to use all these different little features that they provide, and I kind of try to like incorporate them into the episodes just so you guys can kind of see like what you can do. And it's very simple to use. Like, I'm not a techie person, but of course, I've been able to use it just fine. So, um, again, if you guys have never heard of Stream Media, or if you're looking for like a streaming platform, or if you're thinking about creating your own content, you're kind of not knowing where to start, definitely recommend using Stream Studio. And if you guys do use them, please hit me up. Let me know that you used it because of me. Let me know that you found out about them because of me, because, that'll make me feel good. And then, of course, hit up Stream Media. You could tag them on Instagram, YouTube, pretty much any social media, and I'm sure they'll see it. And I know that they would like to know that new people are using the Stream Studio software. So yeah, let me know. Why do I keep saying let me guys? Let me know if you guys use it. And let them know that you're using it so that they know that they're doing something right, because it's pretty cool. Like, they make it really easy and simple to use, and there's no, you don't have to pay for it. All you have to do is just use your email and they give you a login code and you're in. So just check it out at studio.streann.com, and Streann is spelled with two N's, so Streann. And like I said, I recommend checking them out on social media if you kind of want to look them up and see what they're about and how they got started and all that good stuff. But yeah, anyway, let's go back into TV discussion. So I'm going to move on from Jeepers Creepers 3 because I feel like I could talk about that for a while because it's literally that funny. So the other thing I want to talk about before Stranger Things is there is a show that I just discovered and I absolutely love it. And I'm just like, I really didn't think I was going to love it, but I do. So the show is called KinnPorsche. And y'all, I'm really hoping this reaches the right audience. Like, anybody that watches KinnPorsche, anybody that's a fan of it, please hit me up. Like, please comment, hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, wherever you find me on social media. And please let me know that you watch this, because I would love, like, you see how giddy I am? I would love to discuss the show with other people. I'm just that type of person. Like, if I find a good TV show that I really like, I'm automatically like, I gotta talk about this with somebody. Please, like, talk about it with me. And so I discovered it through Tumblr, and what's funny is that I don't really get on Tumblr that much anymore. Like, I get on it every once in a while just to kind of scroll through. And if you guys don't know what Tumblr is, I'm sure most of you guys do, but people that don't, it's pretty much like a blog site. It's social media, but it's like a blog site. So a lot of people create what they call gift sets. And it's usually gift sets of like TV shows, movies, like any type of media, basically. And so I was scrolling recently and I came across the gift set. And I noticed it was like these two Asian guys, and each like gift set, each scene just looked really intense, and I'm kind of just like, what's going on here? Like, and then and it was like obvious, like clearly they're in some type of romantic relationship, but I was like, I've never seen these guys. I don't know what this is from, but I'm really intrigued. Like, it just looks really, whatever's going on is like really dramatic. And then at the bottom it said KinnPorsche, so I'm like, okay, like let me look this up. So I go to YouTube first to look it up, and I find all these like edits and stuff. So I'm like, okay, this is clearly a TV show. And there's definitely a fandom here. People are making edits. And I watched like a couple of them, and I'm like, okay, like interesting. And so I looked it up on Google just to get like a general synopsis of like what it's about and everything. So it is a mafia show, but it's also a Thai show. It's like a Thai drama slash romance slash action series. So just to give you guys a heads up, if you're kind of thinking about like watching it, it is. It's not in English. There are English subtitles, but they're speaking the Thai language because it's a show made in Thailand. So if that's not your thing, if you don't really want to just like watch a foreign show, then just let you know. And then the other thing too is, I'm just going to be fully transparent. This is an LGBT friendly show, so like all of the main couples on the show are gay. So, I know that's not like some people's cup of tea, and some people don't really want to watch that. That's fine, whatever. But just letting you guys know. So don't get mad if you look it up and you're like, oh my God, what? I didn't know it was like this. It is, okay? So I'm just telling you. So they call it, I didn't know that's what it was called, but they call it a BL series. And I think that stands for Boys Love. So if you see a show and it says BL series, I'm assuming that's like their way of telling you, like, hey, this is a gay show. Like, this is for the gays. And like I said, all three of the main couples are gay. But yeah, so I didn't know that at first, but then I kind of, like I said, looking it up, and I was like, oh, so this is actually like a thing in Thailand. Like, they actually have BL series. Like, it's not just KinnPorsche. There's like a ton of other shows that kind of have that same, um, I don't know, kind of like that same concept, I guess. But I think from what I've seen, it looks like KinnPorsche is probably like one of the most popular ones, if not the number one BL series out right now. And they stream it on a platform. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not even gonna try. It's like IQ. It's like IQIYI or something like that .com. But if you look up KinnPorsche, you'll find it. It'll pop up. So I'm not gonna hold y'all. Like, you gotta pay to watch the full episodes, and I was like, I don't really want to pay to watch the full episodes, but I'm kind of intrigued to see like what's gonna happen. So I found the episodes online for free on this website. I think it's called like Drama Core or something. I don't know. You can look up KinnPorsche like full free episodes or something like that, and I'm sure you'll find it. So sorry y'all, if anybody from KinnPorsche is watching this. Yeah, I did not pay to watch it. I just wanted to watch it for free. Sorry. Um, but yeah, I watched this 14 episodes, so there's only one season out right now. I don't think a season two has been confirmed, but I'm hoping and praying that they come through for another season. The way they left it off definitely set up for another season, so I feel like they probably will, but who knows? I don't know. This is all new to me, like very new. I've never watched a Thai show before. I've never watched a BL series before. I've never like this is my first introduction into all of this, so I really don't know how things work. Like if they try to do a new season like every year, or I don't know. So I guess I'll find out. Maybe I'll update you guys if you want to know. But basically, the show it's a mafia show. So it's about this guy named Porsche, um, who is a bartender, and he crosses paths with a guy named Ken. So KinnPorsche, it's about them. And Ken is a part of a mafia family, and he's kind of like one of the heads of what they call the major family. So there's the major family, and then there's the minor family, but they're all part of the mafia. So Ken and Porsche cross paths, and to make a long story short, Porsche is kind of forced into becoming a personal bodyguard for Kim. And through that, that pretty much changes his life. Like, once he kind of accepts the job, he has to leave behind his younger brother, Porsche. And then he's off to, training to be a bodyguard. And again, he's working for the mafia. So he has to be like top notch, has to learn how to shoot. He has to like exercise and all this different stuff that you would have to do for training. And then, as he's doing that, he ends up, becoming intimate with Ken, which is his boss. So that complicates things further. and that's where, like, the romance ties into it, but it's a lot of action, it's a lot of like drama and stuff too. So yeah, but it's crazy. Like, I was like, what? Like, when I watched the first episode, I really didn't go into it going like, okay, I'm just gonna watch the whole season. It was more so like, I just want to watch the first episode just to kind of get a feel of the show, because again, first time hearing about this, never knew this existed, didn't know anything about this. And so I kind of watched the first episode, and of course, by the end of it, I was like, "Well, I gotta watch episode two. Like, I gotta see what's gonna happen." So halfway through the season, I'm like, "Oh man, like I'm in it. Like I'm in it now. I'm a fan, and I need to find somebody else that watches this show." And funny enough, I did. So I have a mutual through like Twitter and Discord. We used to talk about a show. There was a show called Good Girls that used to be out. And it got canceled, unfortunately, after 4 seasons. So we were like, really, we used to always talk about that show. And then once that fell off, didn't really talk to her as much. But I ended up tweeting about it on Twitter. I was like, I'm getting into the show, KinnPorsche, blah, blah, blah. And she hits me up and she's like, yeah, I watched that too. Like, I watched it. Like, yep. And I was like, what? I was like, I got somebody to talk about this with. Like, I was so excited because I really was like, nobody I know is gonna watch this show. Like, nobody I know probably even knows this stuff exists, but she watches it, and so we've been discussing it for like the past couple of days. Um, and so clearly, I'm excited to have found just like one person that watches it that I can talk about it with. So I please, like, I encourage you guys to leave a comment below, like, or hit me up on social media if you watch KinnPorsche, if you're a fan of it. Um, because I'm sure there's probably some things that I might have missed because the show is not in English. Again, there's subtitles, but I feel like there might be some things I missed. So I like being able to talk about TV shows with other people, because sometimes I get different perspectives, or they'll point things out to me and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that, or like I didn't catch that. So, please talk to me about it, because I would love to fangirl with somebody else. Like, I love talking to one of my mutuals, but again, if we could have like a little group so we can talk about it, like, please. Or if anybody knows like about if there's going to be a season two or anything like that, please let me know, because I'm literally so hype about it now. Like, this is going to be my new infatuation for the next, like, probably for the next few weeks. I don't know. But yeah, I'm just excited that I discovered a new TV show, because I really wasn't setting out to do that. It kind of just happened. And usually that's like the best ones where you're like, I didn't think I was going to be off into this, but I am. So that's where I'm at now. But like I said, it's a very niche type, like, I feel like it's a very specific, probably, target audience. So I don't really feel like maybe that would be the best show to discuss on my podcast, because of the type of audience I have. I try to keep things a little bit more like family friendly, although Barry is not really, it's not really a family friendly show, because Barry is very like graphic and stuff. It's very violent, um but yeah, I don't know if you guys would really want to hear me talk about that, and because it's more of an unknown show, it's not as popular as like Stranger Things, and it's not on some big streaming platform. So I want people, like, if I'm talking about a TV show, I want my audience to have access to that TV show. So and I feel like a lot of people probably wouldn't pay to watch the KinnPorsche. So, but if you wanted to look it up, please do. You can find it. But like I said, just know that there are some explicit scenes. So if that's not your jam, that's not your thing, do not look it up. Do not watch it. Um, but yeah, like I said, if you guys watch it, like, please let me know. Or if you have like any other recommendations for any other Thai series that you feel like are pretty good, or maybe that what's funny is now I'm like, you know what? I'm open to watching another Thai show, but I feel like I'm gonna keep comparing it to KinnPorsche, and then I'm gonna be like, you know what? This is good, but this ain't as good as KinnPorsche, because I feel like KinnPorsche just set the standard. Like, that's about to be like one of my favorite shows. Like, I'm telling you right now, I don't know if there's any other Thai show that's gonna be as good as that. So we'll see. But I'm open to um watching other Thai shows. And I know like K dramas are really popular. Korean dramas. I've never seen one. I've heard that they're kind of like soap operas. And I know that those have kind of become a little bit more mainstream within the last few years. It's definitely reached more of an American audience, because I think they have like K dramas on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. Um, So maybe I can kind of get into one of those and talk about, I don't know. But now that I'm open to like Thai dramas, I'm like, you know what, maybe K dramas wouldn't be bad either. I don't know. You guys let me know if anybody knows about that. Like tell me what's the big difference between the two. Like what um like what's mainly different. I mean, besides like the language, but like what would you say K dramas are more dramatic? Like is Thai dramas, whatever, like what's the difference? So I kind of know if I want to get into K dramas or not. But yeah, KinnPorsche is like that show. So I'm happy I discovered it because like I said, I wasn't looking to watch a new show. It just happened. And I'm like wanting to be a part of the fandom. I'm like, please accept me into the fandom. I want to be a part of the community so we can talk about it. And I actually made a TikTok video about it too. And like I got quite a few comments of people like, yeah, we watched this show. Like, girl, you're late. Like this show been out. And I'm like, well, dang, I didn't know. Like I just discovered it just came out this year. So I was like, I didn't know. And I've never watched like any shows like that before. So, how was I supposed to know? But I was like, I'm in it now, baby. I'm in it. And I'm gonna be here waiting for season 2. They better come through with the season 2. Like the way they left off, I'm telling you, if they don't come through with the season 2, I'm writing an angry letter to anybody that like runs the show or whatever network owns it. Like I'm telling you, you better come through with season 2 because we're waiting for it. And yeah, I definitely feel like this show has potential to like reach a larger audience. Like I think if it continues to go like 2, 3, 4 seasons, I could see it like I could see more people like a more of a general audience or like more of an American audience watching it. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll keep you guys updated. I'm probably not going to go into a full discussion for each episode because, like I said, I don't know if this would necessarily be like the best show to talk about, but I might update you guys, especially if I have people hitting me up going like, hey, I watched that show too. Like, I'll let you guys know if I hear anything new about it. But I just had to mention that, y'all. Anyway, I've been talking long enough, so let's get into Stranger Things. And then before I do that, again, just a quick reminder that my podcast is sponsored by Stream Media, and that the way that I'm able to go live with you guys every week is that I use the Stream Studio software. So if you haven't heard of Stream Media, if you don't know anything about Stream Studio software, please check them out for yourself. Just go to studio.stream.com and you'll have access to it. And kind of play around with the features and see what you would like to do with this platform. If you want to do podcasting, if you want to just do regular live streaming, if you want to do gaming, if you want to do reactions, anything like that, like you could do it. You can pretty much do whatever you want because you have access to live stream pretty much from any major social media platform, and Stream Studio has that all set up for you. So they make it really easy. Anyway, let's jump into Stranger Things because I feel like I'm gonna be like rushing to try to get, but I'm not gonna talk about the full episode. I'm just letting y'all know right now. Episode 8, I'm gonna have to continue it next week because there's just too much stuff that happens. Um, but yeah, we left off. Y'all, my phone is acting up. I'm sorry, but we left off. This is not working, and I don't know why. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Um, So we left off with episode 7, and that was the finale to volume 1. So I'm sure again most of you guys know, but for those who don't, episodes 1 through 7 are considered volume 1, and then episode 8 and 9 is volume 2. So we are officially in volume 2 right now, and y'all, we're coming to the end. Like we're getting close to the end. But like I said, I'm gonna kind of stretch it out a few episodes because it's just too much stuff going on. There's no way I could talk about all of it in one podcast episode, and I feel like I would just be like rushing through it, like kind of like I am now. So let me just get into it. So we left off with the big reveal that Vecna is Henry slash one, and he's been after Elle this entire time, which is like, whoa, like that's a big reveal to me. But even more so than the fact that all three of these people are the same person, it's more so the fact that like that means he's been after Elle this whole time, like throughout the whole show, and we just didn't know it because they've always just made it seem like the big bad like villain was the mind flayer and that the mind flayer was behind everything. But now it's looking like Vecna is the one that's been going after Elle and going after all these other people in Hawkins and stuff. So I feel like that was like a really big reveal, not just for the season, but for the entire series and stuff. Um, so remember at the end, they're going through, I guess you call it the portal, the gate, whatever, to try to get back to Hawkins. And then at the very last minute, Vecna captures Nancy. And so she's like in a trance and they're trying to wake her up. They're trying to find music to like, snap her out of it. And so while she's in this trance, Nancy pretty much gets a vision or a premonition from Vecna, and he literally is like, I'm showing you what I'm about to do to Hawkins. Like, I'm literally about to destroy your whole entire city, and there's nothing you could do about it. And I'm showing it to you so that you could be the messenger and tell it to Elle and everybody else. Like, this is what I'm going to do, and y'all ain't stopping me. And I'm like, oh my God. Because like, I feel like usually in TV shows, like when you have a villain, usually the villain is like crafting some type of like big plan behind the scenes, but they don't reveal it into the end. In this case, Vecna's like, I'm straight up showing you what I'm gonna do because I have that much confidence, or I'm that cocky that I know I'm gonna succeed. And this, like, whatever you guys try to do to stop me, it's not gonna work because it's already, the plan is already in motion. Like, I've already planted the seeds, and it's gonna come to fruition, which is really scary. Like, I think that just tells you what type of villain Vecna is, and what mindset he's in. So he gives her that message, and um lets her go. So thankfully she didn't get hurt, but I know she was like pretty much traumatized from that. Like the way he messed with her guilt with Barb and everything, and then he showed her that message. And so obviously once she has that message, she goes back to tell the Hawkins crew like what's going to happen. And they start forming a plan of like, how are we going to stop this from happening? Like, we gotta do something, even though we don't have Elle and we don't have her powers. We're here, so we have to do something, basically. And then jumping over to Elle. So Elle's powers are back in this episode. There's this really cool scene where she lifts. So remember the tank, the whole Nina project thing, the tank full of water that she's been laying in to kind of like get her memories back and everything like that, and to kind of go through her trauma, basically, to face it head on so that she could get her powers back. So that big tank thing, there's a scene where she lifts the tank with her powers, and I think she kind of just shows that kind of just to show like Dr. Brenner, like, hey, like, I'm good now, like I got my powers, like I'm back and everything. And it's funny because that's kind of, I think that's what everybody's been waiting for. Like, she hasn't had her power since the end of season 3, so this is kind of like the first time we're really seeing Elle as we know it, like she's back. And then Dr. Brenner, of course, comes in and kind of blows all that up in her face, and he's basically tells her like, you're not ready to fight Vecna. Like, you think you're ready for this fight, but you're not. Like, yes, you have your powers back, but that's not enough. Like, you need to be the most powerful that you've ever been, and in order for us to get you to that point, like, you have to stay here and continue to train. Like, we have to keep going through the motions and stuff. And she's basically just like, no, like, my friends are in danger, they need my help, I need to go. And again, this is where the whole, like what I talked about, where although Dr. Brenner and Dr. Owens are working together, you could tell they have different, um how could I say that, they have different ways of like trying to help Elle, and the way they approach it and everything. And so Dr. Owens is like much more respectful. He's kind of just like, she's not a little kid anymore. Like, she's able to make her own decisions. We told her from the beginning, like, this is all going to be on her. Like, if she wants to do it, she'll do it. If she doesn't want to do it, we're not going to force her to do it. So if she wants to leave this place, if she wants to go home and she wants to fight with her friends or for her friends, then we have to let her do that. We can't hold her back. And Dr. Brenner is not happy about that, like, at all. Like, he's like, no, like, she's not ready. Like, I know what's best for you. I'm Papa, all that kind of stuff. He's pretty much like kind of talking to her like that's his actual daughter and stuff, and he's giving it to her straight. Like, I mean, that's the one thing I can say. Like, he's kind of like brutally honest and stuff sometimes, where he's telling her like, Henry has been in the upside down for years and years, which means he's been garnering his power for all that time. And on top of that, he's vengeful. Like, you sent him to the upside down, and now he's been trying to get at you this whole time. So what do you think is going to happen when you two come face to face? Do you really think he's going to hold back? Like, he's going to do everything in his powers to kill you or to try to torture you. And not only that, but he's going to go after your friends too. So, well, he kind of already has been doing that, but you know what I mean? So I think he was basically just telling her, like you think you're ready, but you're not. Like, you need to be able to like full head on go up against him, and it can't just be like, now that you got your powers back and we're just gonna let you go out. So, Dr. Owens and Dr. Brenner are on opposing sides, and I think Elle is hearing him, but she's not really hearing him. Like, she's just so, Elle is a protector. She's always been that way. And I think even more so now that she really has like her core group of friends that she loves and cares about. And like, Joyce is kind of like her mother figure, Hopper is her father figure. And she's just like, I'm not gonna let anything happen to them. Like, no, I'm the one with the power, so I gotta go and help them. I mean, I think that's just where her mind is at. She's just a protector, like through and through. So, they're kind of at odds there. And then in Russia, so Hopper, Joyce, and Murray have broken back into the prison. So remember, they broke out and now they're breaking back in. um and as they break in, they pretty much see that like things are way worse than what they thought. So, they, if you remember, Hopper and the rest of the inmates, they fought the Demogorgon. Everybody else died except for Hopper and what is his name? Oh my god, I'm blanking on his name. Well, y'all know who I'm talking about. Hopper, and then the other guy, Enzo. So everybody pretty much dies except for them because they get out. And then once they come back, they realize that the Demogorgon is like gone loose and pretty much killed like all of the Russian guards and everything. And on top of that, they find out that the Russians have not only that one Demogorgon, but now they have multiple Demodogs. And I know you're like, Demodogs, what the heck is that? For people that don't watch the show. So there's a Demogorgon, which is kind of like the main, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like that's like the big one. That's the one that they were going to fight. The Demodogs is like a variation of the Demogorgon. It's smaller, but it's still pretty dangerous. And it's kind of like a younger Demogorgon, if you want to call it that. So there's a scene where they're walking into this room. There's all these tanks of like Demodogs in there. And it's like, what the heck? Like, are they experimenting? Are they creating more Demogorgons? Like, are you guys crazy? You're insane. Why would you do that? But you have to remember, this is like the Soviet Union in the 80s. So, they probably were doing crazy experiments back then. Who knows? But so they discover that. And when they come back to the prison, like, it's all gone. Every freaking vessel that was holding a Demogorgon is destroyed, which means they're out and they're running rampant across the prison. And it's like, oh shoot, like, we're not just gonna have to go up against the Demogorgon. Now it's like all these other things that we got to go up against. Besides, because I think they were worried about like maybe running into the other Russian guards and everything. But now it's like, nah, forget the people. Now we got to go up against these creatures, which is way worse if you ask me. So they're in some mess when they go back into the prison. They're like, okay, this is not what I was expecting, but looks like we're gonna have to fight. And again, this is all just like gearing up for the big season finale. Like, there's gonna be another huge fight against pretty much it's all against Vecna, really, is what it is, because Vecna, it's a hive mind, which means every creature that's a part of the Upside Down is connected to Vecna, is connected to the Mind Flayer. So if you hurt the Demogorgon, Vecna feels that. If you hurt one of the Demodogs, Vecna feels that. So it's like the way they did the show, I think, was really cool. Although like a lot of the characters are split up this season, it's like they're all pretty much fighting the same thing, is what it is. It's just different variations of it, or different forms that they're fighting. And then, oh my God, what I really wanted to talk about too, let's get back into Will. So remember, I don't remember what podcast episode this was I did, but I had this whole like discussion about Will as a character and like his sexuality, and how it was this whole big deal about him. People were like, well, is he in love with Mike? Is he not in love with Mike? Is he gay? Is he not? Whatever. So we definitely get more of that in this episode and then in the next one. And there's a really like heartbreaking emotional scene. I feel like Noah really acted well in this scene, by the way. where he's talking to Mike. They're still in the van, by the way. This is the California crew, so they're still, riding along, trying to find Elle, trying to save her and everything. This is pretty much like what they're doing, like the whole second half of the season. So they're in the car, and Will pulls out the painting. So remember, this is the painting that he's been holding on to like throughout the whole season. And everybody was like, "What is this painting? Like, why is he being so secretive about it? It must have something to do with Mike." And even Elle said in the beginning, she's like, "Oh yeah, Will was like painting. He's painting something. I don't know what it is. It must be for a girl, but it's for Mike." And we kind of, I think the audience kind of picked up on that earlier on. But he finally pulls it out, and he's like, "Hey, let me show you something." And he gives it to Mike, and it's a really beautiful painting of like the whole like all of the friends, like the whole crew fighting against these monsters. And he's painted Mike as like the leader, as like the hero, and he says he's like the heart of the group and everything. And I feel like that's arguable. I don't know if I would say, like, personally, I don't know if I would say Mike is the heart of the group, or the heart of, like, I don't know, of like all of their friendship. I honestly would probably give that to Will more than I would Mike, to be honest. And I know, like I said, people have the different opinions and stuff, but I feel like that's coming from Will because Will is obviously in love with him. He has feelings for him, and when you love somebody like that, like, you see things differently. So to him, he's like, "You're the heart of the group, and like I look at you as like the leader." And he didn't like say it all like that, but that's basically what he was telling him. Like, pretty much he's probably always admired him the most out of everybody in the group, and always looked up to him and stuff. And I think in the first two seasons, he was definitely kind of like the leader. Mike was kind of like the one that like stood up to people and everything, compared to Will. Will has always been like the more reserved, quiet one in the group. So I can see why he looks up to him like that. Um, but I feel like lately, I wouldn't say that he's like the heart of the group, to be honest. I feel like it's more so Will maybe now, or even or maybe even Dustin. I don't know, but I would give that more so to Will. I think because Will is like very sensitive and everything, but he gives him the painting, and he's like, and he spins this story that like Elle commissioned me to paint it and stuff, and so it's for you, but it kind of is coming from Elle. It's not really coming from me, but we all know that that's not true. And Mike is like, "Oh, like I like this is really great, like I love it." And he goes on, and Will goes on this whole speech to Mike about like how much Elle really needs Mike and how much they need each other. And he's pretty much just trying to like assure him, because Mike is, you have to remember they're all teenagers. They're only like 15. So Mike is like, like, does Elle really need me? Like, once she's back in her element, everything, like, who am I to her? Like, she has all these powers. She's this, he looks at Elle as like a superhero. She's like up here to Mike. So Mike is just like, why would she need me? Like, she doesn't need me. I'm nothing compared to her. He's just like battling some insecurities like most teenagers do. And Will is like, that's kind of what he's been doing, I feel like, throughout most of the season anyway. But he's like the best friend that's like, "I'm telling you right now, she needs you. Like, you're important to her. You're important to all of us. We all need you." Like, just trying to give him that confidence boost. And as he's telling him this, he's like starting to like tear up and everything. And you realize when he's talking, he's saying, "Elle needs you," and all this kind of stuff. He's talking about himself, you guys. And I was like, "Oh, Will." So this is why, man, this is why I'm rooting for them. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. But like, I just want Will to be happy. I feel like he deserves that. And I'm like, dang it. If he wants Mike, I hope he gets Mike. And I know there's people that are like, "No, that wouldn't make sense." And Mike is not gay, and Mike loves Elle. That's probably true. It probably will never happen. But I just feel like I'm just a sucker for like unrequited love. And when I see a character that like really loves somebody and the other person doesn't love them back in that same way, I'm always like, just love them, man. Just be with them. I'm just always rooting for love, I guess. But um that scene was like really emotional. One of the best scenes, I think, that episode. And yeah, and it's sad too, because he's telling him all this, and Mike doesn't. I don't think he gets it. Like, I don't think it's. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys tell me what you think, but I don't think he realizes that Will is speaking from his own perspective. He's using Elle as like a cover to be like, "Well, Elle really needs you, and you're the heart to Elle and everything." But it's really Will that's like, Will is saying, "I need you, Mike. I need you always. Like, I've always needed you, and I've needed you this past year that that we've been apart, and like, you're my heart." And I don't think Mike gets that. I don't think he sees that yet. And if he does see it, maybe he's kind of trying to ignore the feelings. I don't know, but I don't think it's caught on to him yet. So I'm really curious to see how that's gonna play out in season 5. And so because I'm sure there'll be more, maybe there'll be more scenes like that. Or there'll be more like um I think there'll be more parts where Will kind of, like be emotional or kind of reveal a little bit of himself to Mike. And it's kind of, I don't know if Mike's gonna catch on or not, but I'm hoping that they kind of deal with that a little bit more next season. But but yeah, one of the best scenes probably this season, one of the best scenes in this episode. So I had to like talk about that because I was just like, man, like I just really feel for Will, like I said, and I talked about this in one of my earlier podcast episodes, but I'm rooting for him. And if he wants Mike, then I'm rooting for them. That's how I look at it. But I also know that like, I wouldn't want Elle to get hurt because like for Elle and Mike, that's both their first relationship, both first like serious relationship, and now that Elle and Will have been living together, they kind of have this like brother sister relationship, and so I know like that I don't want that to put a strain between their relationship because for the longest time they weren't really like friends, and so now that they are, I'm hoping that like Will's feelings for Mike don't come in between that. I don't want them to be like fighting amongst each other, but yeah, I just want Will to have some happiness, and I don't think introducing a new character for him to have a love interest, I just don't think that would be. I don't know if that would be best because I feel like if they do that, they're gonna kill him off, and then Will's gonna be heartbroken again. It's like, don't do that to him. Do not do that to him. So I don't know. We'll see. But definitely standout scene for me. And then kind of jumping back to Elle. So what we kind of see too, Dr. Brenner is kind of like filling in the gaps for Elle. He's pretty much telling her like, so after you sent Henry to the Upside Down, and this is going back to like the whole flashbacks of like where all the kids were massacred, and she realized that wasn't me that did that; it was Henry. And I fought him and I sent him to the Upside Down. So she knows all that now. And Dr. Brenner pretty much tells her like after you sent him to the Upside Down, you fell into a coma. So that's probably a big reason, besides it just being so traumatizing, why she didn't remember for so long, because she kind of lost her memories, and and I think he says that like they tried to look for Henry, or they tried to find him, and they couldn't find him. Um, so yeah, we're kind of filling in the gaps of things that we saw in season 1, and it's all like making sense now. And we're going, oh, okay, like that's why that happened, or this makes sense to what we were seeing in season 1 and everything. So it's just all coming full circle. It's like crazy when I tell you, it's really trippy, like the way they tied in everything. Kudos to the writers, because I don't know how they're able to keep up with everything. It's just too much stuff. It's a lot of stuff, I should say. Maybe not too much, but it's a lot. It's a lot to keep up with. um and so let me see, what was it? Oh, okay, and let me go back to the Hawkins crew really quickly. I'm gonna wrap this up really quickly because I'm kind of running out of time. So when they get the message from Nancy that like Vecna has a plan to destroy Hawkins and he's pretty much gonna bring the Upside Down into the real world, they start forming a plan, and they come to the realization that there's a significance to the clock chiming. So remember how like everybody that died, Chrissy and Patrick and what was the other guy's name? Freddie. So every time that they were about to die, there was a chime in the background, and it went ding 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 ding, like a big like grandfather clock type sound. And Max was like, "Oh, it does it 4 times." And now we know that he's looking for his last kill, which would be 4 kills. And so there's a significance there: 4 kills, 4 chimes, and then they realized that that will be opening a fourth gate. Because remember, everybody that died, there was a gate that opened up where they died. So if you remember, like in the first episode when Chrissy died in Eddie's trailer, there was a big crack in the ceiling, and that was like one, another gate opening. So, um, they're super smart. They put it together. They're like, okay, so he has this plan of like opening, like killing another person, which will be the fourth person to die. Then it's gonna open another gate, which will be the fourth gate, and that's going to activate whatever is going to destroy. Well, I should say whatever is going to destroy him destroying Hawkins basically. And so Max offers herself as bait, and she's pretty much just like, he's targeted me before and I'm still kind of like cursed basically. So if I put myself out there, he's going to show up. Like he's going to try to come after me again, I guarantee you. And everybody's kind of like, whoa, like, I don't know if that's a good idea. Like you almost died last time. And Max, poor Max, like she's been through it this season for real. But she was like brave enough to be like, no, like use me as bait. We can't use some stranger. We can't use anybody else. It has to be me. And so as they pretty much steal a trailer park to kind of set the plan in motion and everything. And there's this really cute scene between not Elle, I'm sorry, between Max and Lucas. And as you guys know, I don't know if I've really talked about them much because their relationship has been pretty strained this whole season. So obviously they were a couple in the last season. And then by this season, they've broken up because, Max is grieving Billy's death. And then Lucas has kind of, gone off and found his own friends. He joined the basketball team, was kind of a part of a different group and stuff. So they were kind of like splitting ways and stuff in the beginning in high school. And so and it said in the beginning that Max broke up with him, so I'm pretty sure she just isolated herself from everybody. And so they were still friends, but it was like very strained, kind of awkward between them. And so I'm glad that up until this point that they're kind of opening up to each other again, and they have a scene where they talk, and Lucas is kind of telling her like, maybe we should come up with something else, like something that won't put you in danger. And it's clear that he still likes her, he still cares about her, dare I say he still loves her. Um, and Max is basically just like, no, it has to be me. And yeah, that's just again kind of like a standout scene because I'm pulling for them to become a couple again too because I think they were really cute. I know a lot of people focus on like Mike and Elle or this time Will and Mike and everything, but like they were a really cute couple. And I think if Max really could confide in anybody, I know she's friends with everybody in the group, but I think if she had just one person that she could confide to, it would be Lucas. And so I'm glad that they're kind of reforming that friendship again. So hopefully something else will happen between them, like they'll get back together or something, or at least they can just build to that is what I'm saying. So I ship it. What can I say? I want them to be happy. So yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. There is way more to the episode, but I'm going to continue it next week on Tuesday at 1 p.m., as I do always. So, yeah, be prepared. We're going to jump back into the Stranger Things discussion next week. Again, let me know, like, what you guys think about the whole Jeepers Creepers reboot. Like, I really want to know what you guys think about that. And please tell me if you watch KinnPorsche. Please tell me because I want to talk to you if you do. I want to discuss the show with somebody else as well. Um, and yeah, like I said, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there because we're going on an hour here, and I don't want to be talking for too long. And there's just too much stuff that still is going to happen in episode 8. I want to kind of save that for next week. Um, and as I always, follow me on social media. I'll put my social media usernames, links, or whatever in the comments. And don't be afraid to reach out to me to talk about TV, movie, music, anything like that. And of course, if you want to be on my podcast, please let me know. I'm always open to having guests. Just let me know so we can work something out and we can come on and you can talk about Stranger Things. We could talk about maybe we can even talk about a new show that you want to introduce me to, or if we could talk about like a movie. I know a lot of people right now are reacting to, there's a new show on Disney Plus called She-Hulk. And it's about, I think it's about the Hulk's sister, I think. Don't crucify me if that's wrong, because I really don't have Disney Plus right now, and I don't keep up with like a lot of the Marvel stuff, to be honest. But I've been seeing people react to that, so I know that's like a new show, and that's kind of what's being talked about right now. I'm sure there's a ton of other shows on Disney Plus that people are reacting to, but I saw that one recently. So if you guys want me to like react to Disney Plus shows, like let me know and I'll get Disney Plus again. I had it once before, but I just wasn't really using it. Let me know and I'll get another subscription to it and I'll watch, what you guys want me to watch so we can talk about it. But I can't guarantee that I'll kind of understand everything because like I said, I haven't kept up with Marvel stuff. And I really don't know. Like I know very little about the Avengers stuff and all like the sequels and everything. Like there's a ton of movies. I just have not seen them. I'm sorry. do not get mad at me, but I don't know a lot about it. And I don't know anything about Star Wars or Star Trek or any of that stuff. I haven't seen WandaVision. Like, there's so much stuff that I have not, like, that I just don't know about. So, but again, I'm open to recommendations, so please let me know. And I will see you guys next week. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this discussion, and let me know if you want me to talk about, a little bit more movies, or if you want me to talk about a different TV show. Please let me know. And I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.